Speaking about trauma is challenging, and hearing about trauma is also very challenging. It would be normal for you to feel uncomfortable during this presentation. I'm going to offer you a couple of safety techniques that can help you if that discomfort starts to distract you. The first is to stay grounded. Notice your physical presence. Feel your feet on the floor, feel the chair that you're sitting on, notice the contact, notice the textures. The other thing you can do is to orient to the room that we're in. Notice where the exits are. Look around and see the colors and the shapes of the different objects that are in this room. Notice the people around you. Those are two techniques that help your body to recognize that you're here in this room and you're safe while I speak about child sexual abuse. My definition of child comes from a perspective of faith. I believe that we're called children of God because we are supposed to treat each other with the same nurturing, loving, caring manner that we are supposed to treat our children. My definition of sexual abuse is equally as broad. Many of us have experienced a sexual violation that gets dismissed as being not very important or significant because it doesn't look like what we see on television or in movies. But sexual abuse isn't a physical injury, and those visual mediums can't accurately portray the injury that does occur. When I experience a physical injury, whether it's a bump on the elbow, I stub my toe, or have a cut on my hand, I'm instinctually driven to make contact with that place that hurts. And if the wound needs bandages or needs a professional to support me, then I'm going to leave that protection on. I'm going to leave the cover on until I have the support that I need. That's to protect me and keep me safe. When I was sexually assaulted, I was injured. Not a physical injury. It changed my perspective. The experience was more than what I was capable of understanding or processing. So my mind protected me from that by keeping the images and the sensations out of my conscious awareness. For me, it was like it didn't happen. And that kept me safe. It kept me safe from an overwhelming experience that I wasn't equipped to deal with. But it also put me at risk. Without the conscious awareness of what had happened, I couldn't identify that this person was unsafe. And so I was sexually assaulted multiple times by the same person over the course of a year. Fast forward 15 years. This guy walks up to me, introduces himself, and asks me if I remember him. At that moment, my mind, my instincts, determined that I needed to know what this person had done to me. I needed to be able to choose to keep myself safe from him. And that was the beginning of what I call a post-traumatic stress flare-up. When those images and sensations became available to my consciousness, my body reacted as though that life-threatening situation was occurring presently. My body's fight, flight, or freeze response was activated. So what I experienced was increased heart rate. My muscles got tense. My pupils got dilated so that I could see more of the threats around me. My hearing changed so I could hear more of the dangers around me. My sense of touch changed. Things felt different. My muscles got tense, and my body created dozens and dozens of hormones to prepare me for fight or flight against a threat that I couldn't identify. And at the same time, my mind was completely rewiring itself. For 15 years, I had an unconscious, unknown purpose to not think about something. And now that those memories and images were available to me, everything that I had ever constructed in my mind disintegrated. It was like everything had to be rebuilt. Simple, basic tasks became nearly impossible. That's a really overwhelming experience. I didn't know what to do with that. I still didn't have the tools to respond to that. I didn't know about getting grounded and being physically present. I didn't know about orienting to my environment and letting my body respond to where I am. I didn't know any of those things. But I could ask for help. And what I discovered when I started looking for help was that collectively, we are responding to sexual abuse in the same way that my mind responded to it. Collectively, we are not seeing something that is right in front of us. Some of you might have already seen this piece of paper getting passed around, and we sent several around hoping that most people would have a chance to experience this optical illusion that I discovered while I was reading a book with my daughter one night. So the way that it works is if you cover your left eye and you keep your right eye focused on the square, as you move the page closer, the dot on the yellow block disappears, completely vanishes. Collectively, we are focused on the effects of sexual abuse so that we can't actually see what is right in front of us. And we know that this is true because sexual abuse happens to 1 in 4 girls before she's 18 and 1 in 6 boys before he's 18. 4 to 5 First Nations girls are sexually abused. It is rampant. It is the most common childhood experience that we offer our youth. But where's our legislation? Where's our policies? Where's the protection? What are we doing about sexual abuse? We're setting up anti-bullying task force. That's not sexual abuse. Bullies bully because they've been sexually abused. It's an effect. It is time for us to start seeing what is right in front of us, because until we do, we're going to be continuing to let people suffer in that invisible pit. It took a lot of work for me to get out of that. Not everybody makes it out, and there are lots of people still there. As we move forward, a change is happening. And this is already happening. This is good news. As some of you might already know about tipping point. I did a little research on it before today, and what I found was that researchers say that when 10% of a population prescribes to a belief, the other 90% will adopt that minority opinion. Until you reach that 10%, it falls flat. Right now, this is falling flat. We do not have enough people that believe that sexual abuse is real or believe that we can prevent it. We are definitely at fewer than 10%, and we can see that because nobody's talking about sexual abuse. But we are really close, and we can see that also because there are so many stories happening in the news that are starting to all piece together similar ideas. And of course, including the Rehtaeh Parsons case, which has captured our attention internationally for such a long time already, which is wonderful. So as we move forward, I want to invite you to participate in becoming part of that 10% that is going to transform our society. And there are 2 ways that I will suggest if you don't already have a strategy in place. And the first one is really simple. Learn active listening. It's an amazingly profound skill that opens up a world of information that we are not hearing right now because we are busy talking at each other. Go home, look it up online, practice it, try it out with your friends. You will be amazed at what you will learn just by active listening. The second thing that I'm going to suggest is that you talk about child sexual abuse. Talk about it with the people who are here tonight. Talk about it when you go home. Give people a chance to come out and speak about something that they've experienced. It's unfair of us to leave this enormous, complicated problem up to the victims to solve. We need to take some action and make an environment that invites victims to come forward and speak about their experience. We need this to be part of our everyday dialogue so that it's not some foreign, unexplainable experience. Personally, I am looking forward to seeing this transformation take place, and I expect it any day now. Thank you very much.